Okay, guys, I've got to do my best to get this one out while the muse is talking to me. Otherwise, I won't get it out at all. The title of this video, the Soulless Japanese Salaryman, is a provocative title. I know it, and I don't mean it to use the title as such. I use it simply because it accurately sums up what I am attempting to describe and counterbalance with a little bit of reality. Now, excuse me, I'm a little bit drunk, but I think I can safely make this video without losing my job. But I do step into dangerous territory. So if you see this video, if I actually uploaded it, understand that I'm taking a bit of a risk. But the risk is my own, worth taking, I think. Because I have a positive thing to say, although the title can be taken in a negative vein. It's not that I mean it that way. So get on with it, Kurt. The Soulless Japanese Salaryman. I think that those of us in the West who are familiar with the stereotypical image of the Japanese businessman will understand what I'm talking about. The type of dark-suited, trim haircut, look with the spectacles. The dark rimmed spectacles, and the expressionless face, the inscrutable face that he has gained fame as a description of the Japanese ever since the Japan first opened to the West. That image is one that came straight in my face today and broke through the stereotypical mold. Sorry about the darkness here. Broke through that stereotype, and I could see it for what it was and I could see it for the first time for how the Japanese see it and admire it and view it. And here's it. I'll just give it to you. I've got to be careful. I've got to choose my words carefully here. I was at an event where there were various people making speeches, and there was one person in particular who basically represents that stereotypical image. Lock, stock, and barrel. I mean, you could put that person in the encyclopedia or dictionary under Japanese businessman, and that would be it. And as people were making speeches, and he was one of them, as people were making speeches, there was various degrees of reactions from the audience. Everything positive. Everything about this evening was positive. There's nothing negative about this evening. All of it was positive. But some of it was more along the lines of positive in terms of support. I mean, people don't like public speaking. And here in Japan, public speaking is a difficult thing. It's for everybody. But some of it was more along the lines of support. Some of it was more along the lines of understanding. It was interesting to see how women were given leeway, kind of a sexual distinction made between males and female speakers. How women were given a bit of a basically we were told females don't worry about making don't have to feel any pressure. It's the men. You guys are the ones that have to feel the pressure to make an interesting speech. That was interesting. And how everybody accepted, yeah, it's cool. And the women responded accordingly. But the really interesting one was when that particular man came up, and he was no more senior by age or time with the job or anything like that. He was a true peer of everyone who was speaking. When his term came, when he rose and walked up to the front, I could feel it. I could sense it in everyone else. I could feel it. How he was different. He was different because he had the characteristic look, the appearance, the carriage, the distinction, the clothing, the eyewear, the haircut, everything of the respectable, admirable, self-controlled, emotions under control Japanese businessman, that icon that in the West that we don't see, that we see as kind of a soulless spirit. I mean, I think I'm not speaking out of turn in this regard. I'm calling it the soulless Japanese businessman. That's how I viewed it before I came to Japan. I think that's how many Westerners view it. We know that. We think of that legion. And in fact, the Japanese view it themselves too that way, to a degree. I mean, no, they don't view it as soulless, but they see that almost stamped out of a mold image. There's a thing on YouTube right now that runs ads that run on the front of my videos as well as other videos that are basically show the Keitai guy, and maybe only if you're in Japan, the Keitai dude, and it's in a sea of nearly identical salarymen, and then it switches to salary women, and they're identical as well. So the Japanese are well aware of this image. You can't hold my umbrella. But the way that this particular person, this man, was treated silently. I mean, what I mean by silently is no one needed to say a word. You could feel the respect, the admiration, that he gained simply by the way that he wore his Japanese businessman identity. The way that he did that brought about a sense of respect and distinction that was almost tangible. And at that moment, I could see why that is so attractive to the Japanese. Because within a society that values that so much, if you can master it, if you can become what I call the soulless Japanese businessman, if you can become that, you will win a great distinction and a true place of respect among your peers. Regardless, you don't have to say a word. And I'll have to say that his speech seemed to be, even though my Japanese is quite poor, I could follow as well as I could with the others. His speech seemed no better than any of the others. Nevertheless, he was treated differently. There was an air of respect and regard that I think was brought to the table by his efforts to fit the bill. Now, what I'm saying is no different than any other culture, but I wonder though, is what, for example, in my own culture, in the American culture, what would be the corresponding image that would be the same? Would it be more of the independent? What's that guy's name that's the head of Virgin Atlantic? I mean, that guy kind of fits the bill as well. The freewheeling, free-spirit entrepreneur genius. Steve Jobs. Take him for example as well. Would that be the same type of thing? That just by the virtue of his appearance alone brings a cachet of feelings and identity, and brings to mind in the observer a sense of respect and a regard that really comes before words even. So I saw it tonight, and now I understand. Now I understand why so many Japanese men choose that identity, and why so many of the kids that I've known here in Japan, when I ask them what they want to be when they grow up, and they tell me they want to be a salaryman, there's a lot to it, and there's a lot to be gained if you can master it. It's not no easy feat though. You have to. It takes it's like holding your own. It's like keeping your calm in the face of danger and difficulty. Life is dangerous and difficult, especially here, for a young man. I mean, you basically have to control your emotions and bring your your wits and your mind and your mental interests under rein for the betterment, in order to put forth a face and image that will be the one of respectability and admiration. What we in the West might consider, or I at least might consider, the soulless Japanese businessman, might instead here in Japan be considered the man of calm, collected composure, who is able to temper his emotions and master his feelings in order to muster his energies and efforts towards adherence to a way of life that is tried and true and under great respect here. And there you go. So I'll never see them the same. I hope I have a job if any of my coworkers see this video. I mean it with the utmost respect, I really do, even though the title seems to be strange. Well, I'm going to sign off for now, here in front of this giant green screen. Okay, wow. See y'all later. Bye-bye. I remember like 3 years ago I made a sign off from this giant green screen as well. It makes sense. This whole sea of green here. It's a green world. Yeah. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a great day.